give you the revised schedule in class on Thursday. So just shortening things, moving along in some ways, moving on to other things. And, okay. Remember, we still have a quiz this week. The whole week. Do the quiz, please. Oh, okay, so Hitchens. Religion, people of faith can't keep themselves to themselves. Yes, Christopher Hitchens. Can't keep themselves to themselves. Again, I don't know why I have this on here. Oh yeah, now I remember. Oh, thank you. Why is that? Why is that bad with religion, though? Well, I mean, it's like his main argument is that, well, these religious people, these people of faith, can't keep themselves to themselves. They keep trying to tell me what to do. Well, why can't they? Why shouldn't they be able to? Why should they keep themselves to themselves? Yes.
Because people eat. That's what God is saying.
Okay, people don't like being told what to do. So when you got the syllabus, you threw it into a shredder, right?
No, you have to.
Well, yeah, you have to. What are the... Okay. Do you think religion is something that should not be allowed to tell people what to do?
I mean, everybody needs certain things.
Okay. So religion can tell people what to do. Okay. Like anything else, or?
Like it's
Okay. What about, let's say you're living in a community, a town, a city, where a large percentage of the people are, I don't know, Hasidic Jews. They pass a bylaw that says no pork or shellfish can be sold in any store in the town or city because it violates God's law, kosher, that will avoid certain foods. So you can't sell meat and cheese together. They have to be separate, far away from each other. So that's okay. That okay? Legitimate? Uh, well, that's why you have fines and penalties, right?
yeah.
You think technically they can do that? Yeah. A religious group can insert their views into the legislation of the city, the town. Oh, they're the ones running it. Okay.
Depends on who has it.
Huh?
Depends on who has the authority.
Yeah, if they have the authority. But is it right or wrong? Which is right or wrong? You like it or not like it?
I don't care.
You don't care?
What's so weird?
All right. I don't know. What if you have people who are Christian decide that they have enough votes in the state legislature, maybe enough since the Supreme Court, to outlaw abortion. Say it's not a fundamental right, not a constitutional right as it was for decades. So each state gets to decide. You live in a state with a majority Christian population, they decide, nope, no abortions in the whole state. At all. But of course, other states, could decide differently, right? That's legitimate, isn't it? Well, how do you look at it? They're taking their religious views. What if it was overturned, if you were able to find out it was overturned because of people's religious views? The one that say, human life is sacred from conception, so you can't.
We just have to take away forever. Not everybody follows the same set of values.
Okay.
If you don't want to do it, then you don't have to.
Sure.
You shouldn't not have that option.
But they're allowed to impose their views, aren't Wasn't that what you just said? A religious group can in some cases
Well, they,
oppose to religious groups?
they do.
If they do. So if the state legislature's majority has a bunch of Christians who all get together and decide, got the votes, we're gonna outlaw it in the whole state for everybody because we think it's wrong, that's okay. They have the authority.
They can't stop.
Well, you can stop those. Don't elect them. You know, don't elect them, I guess.
Did you go to that?
Oh,
Why?
because I got up early. I was when I get up.
But one person is like, you single-handedly pick something. Just because you think it doesn't mean everyone's just too dark.
Okay. What I guess what I'm getting is that a religious group could impose their religious views if they have the authority.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But it seems like whether I want to have an abortion or a bacon cheeseburger, there's a difference. Is there a difference? Does it make any difference?
Yeah.
Why?
It's your blood. Everyone affects you.
Well, if you violate God's kosher laws, you're offending God. So that affects not just this life, but the afterlife as well.
Allowed by your business.
Okay, but not according to their interpretation necessarily. I mean, you're assuming that's what their interpretation should be, but okay, interesting. What if you live in a town and the town council are all Christians and decide that on Sundays everything has to be closed, no business is running, it's a day of rest. It's also a day of worship, so everyone has to go to church. A Christian church. Like, not saying which actual church you have to go to, but, you want to go to the Pentecostal, you want to go to the Catholic church, whatever, doesn't matter. Legitimate, they have the authority, right? Why not?
Praise the Lord.
Well, you're still allowed to think and have your own opinions, but sure, yeah.
If you don't want to follow.
Which groups are allowed to impose their own views legitimately?
I feel like that unfortunately it don't work that way. It don't work this way, but I feel like because of your affliction, you should go a certain way. You should not really so like how do you feel? How do you feel about it? Like how do you feel about it more emotionally, not religiously? So like abortion for example. Sometimes in certain cases, women have to get an abortion, and if they don't, it can lead to more serious things, same like that, like serious bodily harm. So that's just one situation where I'm saying, oh, that's not.
Okay. But I'm wondering, okay, that's a good point. You're saying basically for your religious or moral point of view, you shouldn't be allowed to impose that on everybody.
Just like people in law don't do that though. Like they make I don't know exactly how it works. They make laws like that. I feel like they don't always go based off like you said, like they go based off religion. Like it's a majority, like if it's a majority Christian area, be like no abortion. What if there's certain people in that area who move from somewhere else and they don't believe in religion at all?
Sure.
Straight atheism. So, hey, follow the rules.
Well, do we all have to follow the rules?
No, that's good thing. It's like,
I mean, because the people, sorry, go ahead.
it's like counterproductive, especially because when you have the Constitution, say, on the state being religion. Constitution will say being religion. So,
says that the government shall not establish anything, nor shall it impede the free exercise thereof. So you're allowed to worship the way you want. Government's not going to say if it's good or bad, it's not going to law. Parent, sure. He's really
Oh, when you said that everyone has to follow, they're not. Like, you think of the laws, people are in jail that don't follow the laws, but they're like saying you pay for abortion. If you ban abortion, it's not gonna stop abortion, it's gonna stop safe abortion.
sure.
So you can't really go based on just that. It's
Yeah.
not, you're told to follow something, but you're still not, there's gonna be there's gonna be people who still aren't gonna follow.
Okay. No, I agree. That makes sense in a sense. But of course, if I follow your logic, then you can't ban murder either.
It's not bad. Technically, it's legitimate.
It's not banned. There are no laws against it.
There's laws, but you're still gonna do it.
Okay. So,
That's what I'm saying, there's still consequences.
okay. So you could have a law, say, against abortion, even though people are not going to follow it, saying abortion is illegal. That's okay.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be.
All right. But you can't have laws against murder, even though no one's going to follow that either. I'm just wondering, what's the difference between, say, murder or theft or child abuse? People are going to do it anyways.
Yeah, but one is taking, it's depending on your view.
Yeah, go ahead.
But one is like murder, you're taking a life that's not going to affect others. Like, you can still live without that. But say abortion, say somebody has to get a take abortion and the mom's gonna die. That's something where you're protecting yourself. And that's, but like murder, there's no cases of murder, pretty much no cases of murder that are gonna be good cause. But like, if you're, like, say it's rape and incest, that's gonna be a good cause for getting an abortion.
Okay.
So I think that there should be standards. Not that you just take away something when it's going to have benefits and all that, just because it has some problem. Murder, there's no problems, or there's no benefits in it, so,
But these are your views, right?
yeah, that's what's there.
There-
It's different law.
Okay. So if the majority didn't have your views based on their religious beliefs, they disagreed with you.
But it's not, my views aren't based off my beliefs.
What are they based on? Okay. Your moral thinking.
Like,
Okay. Why is that legitimate then? Over, let's say, my religious thing.
because religious thinking is like, it's encouraging people and telling you what to say. But moral has their say, has rules.
But you are. You are telling me what to do.
I'm not telling you still. None of my
But
personal.
if you're writing the laws, and your point of view is that, okay, well, you're electing the people, right?
And you based on different things. It depends on, like, somebody, if you're voting, you're choosing to vote. A lot of people choose to vote on one certain issue. And then what they're, but a lot of people don't, because you're not going to follow every single thing that it has.
Sure.
So your views are not always following perfectly. So you're going to say, which values do I consider more? Which values do I think are more important? And that's the candidate you're going to.
more important for the politician to impose on others.
A lot of people, that's how they.
To oppose their views on others.
Not necessarily there, yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Is that open? My only question is, why is it illegitimate in some, and not, maybe not in every case, but in some cases, when religious people do it? Like any political party, they band together, they have their views that they share, and this is the way it's gonna be for our society. We're the majority, there you go. We're a Christian society, there aren't gonna be, my example was abortion, but it could have been other stuff like closing down shops on Sundays, telling people they have to go to church, you don't want to, fine, you have to pay a fine. Not going to church. But, abortion is too much of a hot kettle. But yeah,
It's just a, it's just a, said, it depends. The majority is going to have the right one, and that's the same with the government. But I think the government has more better
Really?
religions.
Well, that's interesting. Why?
Because it's the U.S. government. It's a solid foundation for like goes to everybody in the U.S. The amount of different religions, you can't have one religion. You just made one. Tell every single person in the U.S. what to do.
You
But the
can't.
government,
You
no,
can't.
not really.
Well, what if people wanted to?
I don't think the majority is.
Fine. But there have been there are places in the world where there are official religions, you know, Islamic Republic of Pakistan.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
In a sense, the government is more powerful than religion because they can, not alter, but, they can impose a religion amongst people. If that makes sense.
Well, they can in some circuits.
In a sense.
I mean, the history of Europe, many of the Western European nations, the official religions, Christianity, of either the Catholic or the Protestant form. It's still that's in some ways like in the United Kingdom, England. The official religion is Christianity, the Church of England. The king or the queen has to belong to it. Can't be any other religion. Have to be Church of England.
Isn't that fun?
Doesn't mean you have to belong to it, no. But it means that the government officially supports it, gives it money, appoints its bishops. You know, the bishops are part of the government.
I didn't say this. I'm talking about like the group as a not
You don't have to belong to it, but in the past you did, yes. I mean, yeah, like 500 years ago, if you didn't belong to it, then you could be arrested. Modernity, people change their minds. You know, they decided freedom of conscience is a feeling of being able to speak. But there were still restrictions, even into the 1800s, certainly the restrictions against Catholics. Well, there's still the restriction. A Catholic cannot be the king or queen of England. Just by definition, you have to be. So any of the royal family in England that has become Catholic has had to abdicate their position at the line of succession. Yeah, the Lutheran Church is the official church of Spain. People were founded in Norway. The Catholic Church is the official church of Spain. Okay, well, I'm just throwing it out there, a question to talk about. Why is it, what makes it legit, when is it legitimate to impose your views on other people? What's the standard for imposing them on other people? Yes, this is a political day, there's politics, there's voting going on. Aren't people trying to impose their views on others? They want lower taxes, so they're gonna vote for the people who they think are gonna lower taxes. Or they don't, I don't know if anyone says they ever want higher taxes. Maybe we do need higher taxes, but whatever. People want abortion rights, or people they want to restrict them or get rid of it. People want, I don't know, free marijuana, legal marijuana for everybody. Some people don't. So you vote for the people who are going to, be your intermediary to vote and impose your view about what's acceptable, right? Maybe. I'm just trying to kind of dig at if the motives are religious, is that illegitimate? Whereas other motives are perfectly fine. I mean, let's say that you think eating meat is wrong, that it causes suffering to the animals. They're conscious creatures. We shouldn't be eating them. We shouldn't be killing them for our food. It's wrong. We shouldn't be experimenting on them by extension. We shouldn't be using them in lab tests or cutting them open in schools to look at their organs and gain knowledge from that. We shouldn't be doing any of these things. So I'm going to impose my views. I'm going to get people in the state legislature or Congress or wherever, who agree with me, and hopefully get enough of them or change enough minds that they'll legislate that can't do these things anymore. No one can eat meat. Can't eat meat. So the chickens, the cows, they're all free to go. True free range. Open the doors, Miss Cook, let them out. Because you can't eat them anymore, right? That's a moral position, isn't it? That's a moral position, isn't it? Am I free to impose that on everybody else? If not, why not? It's not a religious position necessarily. I don't think so. I'm just trying to get at this argument. I'm not sure why I, as a religious person, somehow I'm the odd man out. I can't impose my views on others. Others can impose. I'm Catholic, so I'm pro-life. I'm totally against abortion because I believe it's a human being. But, if I live here in the state of Pennsylvania, they tell me I got to accept, Doing what?
People are already proving their religious beliefs through the government.
Ooh, interesting. How so?
Talk about abortion. Not to keep going back to it, but some people, they vote against abortion because of their religious beliefs.
And some people also have religious beliefs in favor of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe the use of drugs. Some people see like alcohol. Ooh, go out to Utah and try to find a bar. They have them, but they're severely restricted from what I understand because that's, like 70% of the population is Latter-day Saint Mormon and alcohol's forbidden. Or it used to be, I don't know if it's the same down south, but I was told like down south where a lot of Southern Baptists and they frown on drinking and stuff like that. It's not always easy to find a place to go drink, or at least if you do, it's somewhere off somewhere where you can't see it. But what right do they have to tell me that, I have to go like 30 some miles? I'm just joking. I'm exaggerating. But, I have to go out, behind some building and around another building and down a hall to get to the liquor store if I want to buy some beer. Or restricted. Or if I want to, have a strip club, you want a strip club in the center of town, or a pot shop. Why do they have to be away from schools? What's wrong with that? Let the little kiddies get high. They'll make them happier, make them easier to teach. Don't you? I got to edit that out. No, but why? Because of my moral values, we don't think children should be exposed to those things? Okay, I might agree with that, but I'm just playing devil's advocate, see? Why are you imposing I'm kind of playing off what you were saying, Ms. Durant. Your moral views, why are you imposing them on me? If I don't see a problem with marijuana or drugs and stuff like that, it's perfectly fine. Morally. Well, why do I have to have it like 300, I can't be within like 100 yards or 300 yards or however of a school or a place with children? Why me? But you can have the sweet shop right there. Or the candy store can be right across the street, so we can make the little buggers fat and diabetic. Just don't make them high, Ms. Rogers. Don't make... That might get me fired. All right, that bit. No, I'm just trying to, but this is what I'm trying to think. Because this is what Hitchens says. No religion, and now you said the government, Ms. Colonna, and that was very interesting because, the government has authority. But I would have thought that religions have more authority. Because usually, I'm assuming, and I think most religions, if not all, their authority is from above. It's from God himself, right? Or from the supernatural realm, ultimate reality, right? So doesn't that have more weight, Ms. Jasmine, than whether just the legislature of Pennsylvania thinks something's a good idea? Shouldn't they follow, say, the biblical teachings? Because that comes from God? Shouldn't the government be based on the ideas of the Quran? Because that comes from God? Why not? You shake your head, but why not?
They're separate things. They shouldn't go there.
Why not? But that's your opinion. Okay, that's an opinion. Is it legitimate for you to impose it on me if I don't share it?
But what I'm saying is that anybody can feel freely about any sort of religion.
Okay,
And I think that
fine.
should be allowed. And that is kind of how our society works. It's a quote unquote democracy.
Okay, but going back to some of my examples, what if the majority of the people decide, let's forget about Christianity. Let's say, the majority of people who live in Pakistan are Muslim and they decide, yes, all the laws will be based off of the Quran, which comes from God. What's wrong with that's democracy, isn't it? Rule of the majority of the people? What? Now it's wrong? But why is it a but with them but not with us? Okay, but we could do that here.
That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
I'm purely speaking about it.
Yeah.
Because every country acts different.
Okay.
Entities and different. If we're just talking about America, this is supposed to be like free, and there are many different diverse people. So I don't think that you can have religion go into politics because there are so many different kinds of diverse people, and I mentioned.
Okay. So majority doesn't rule in democracy. Because how can, in your view, how can majority rule? How can you make a decision about anything? You're always going to be disagreeing with it, and you can't impose it on them.
Yeah, but that's just.
How does it work then? Some people think that taxation is confiscation, it's theft. Some people think you need taxes. Some people think healthcare is a right. Others think it's a benefit.
So they're checks and balances. It's system.
Okay, we got checks and balances, but
So make sure that it is
what?
the
The will of
best.
people? That's my point. How can it be the will of the people? How the will of the people can impose their will on some things?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we lived in a pretty messed up time, right? For how, like, in honest.
No, this is just democracy. Think about just the principle of democracy, which is, isn't it the rule of the majority? The people decide what they want their laws to be in the society you
Yeah,
like.
and I don't think they were getting.
Okay, fine. That's fine. We can agree and discuss that. I'm just saying, in general, in the concept of democracy, what you think democracy is, doesn't it mean majority rule? People decide? Okay, then there are some people that have to kind of go along, don't they? All right. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
So
we
is
should
it,
try to meet somewhere in the middle.
well, why should we?
So that everybody sort of gets some sort of outcome. It's not just like you're so far this way and this person's so far this way, and we're going with this person, and that's not fair. Everybody should try and meet somewhere in the middle on discussion.
Okay. Well, there are some forms of democracy that are kind of like, parliamentary democracy, where, as long as you get enough votes that you might get a few seats in the parliament to represent your views. It's not how it works in our country. The first past proposal wins everything. So you have this whole 50-50 thing in places like here in Pennsylvania. You got a Republican and a Democrat, and it's going to break about 50-50 for each. One's going to have a little bit more, and they win everything, right? Party wins everything. Well, couldn't it? What's to stop it from happening here in America? If enough people of a certain belief system are elected to Congress, who decide they want to, and enough governors are elected, and state legislatures, and they want to change the system, amend the Constitution, so that it says there is an official religion. We're qualifying the First Amendment, which, by the way, is not part of the Constitution. But it's called an amendment. It had to be added to. because they couldn't get the US Constitution actually approved, because some of the founding fathers were like, no, we want some changes. Okay, so they didn't incorporate them, they added them. Interesting. So we want to amend it now and change the First Amendment from saying no establishment of religion to we want to establish everyone, you know, the religion is the flying spaghetti monster. That's the official religion of the U.S. Republic. Possible? Sorry. Again, my question, why does the texture of the question change when it comes to religion?
At least here. When Jehovah's Witness knock on your door, what do? You open it and listen to them? Or do you hide that, like, not out?
Well, I opened the door. Usually my door don't have windows on them, so I can't see.
I'm saying, like, I don't know, my house, it's like, there's like a window you can kind of see, like, deep
Yeah,
down.
if you think they look like religious people, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably open the door to see who they are.
Yeah, it's too much.
So I guess it's okay in Pakistan if that's what they want, but not here. It still doesn't, okay, but that still doesn't answer my question. Why is it okay in Pakistan? It's, you know, making this imposing religion in Pakistan is okay, but not here in the United States. There's nothing to say we couldn't do it.
Like, everybody here believes it.
Not everybody in Pakistan, so, I mean, I get the argument, but again, so what? They're minority. That's the whole purpose of you know, of democracy is about majorities. You get the most votes and the bill passes. You don't say, oh, well, because, you know, a third of the Congress doesn't want this. Okay, you know, maybe you make some compromises in the bill because you won't get it. But if you can get it to pass and push it through with all your votes, do you? Don't you? Is that how the system works? Am I misrepresenting it? Yeah.
See, it's like, even in those countries though, like I know India is having a lot of problems with their like national religion because people have different beliefs and their thought process is like conservative of it's always been this way, so why should we change because of the minority? Well, I think like when it comes to compromise, it's like not having a finite thing, kind of incorporating everybody, so like not everybody's going to be happy. They're not forcing anybody into something that, you know, that they may not believe in. Like with abortion, you could have abortion, but you're not forcing anybody to get an abortion. So if it's against your belief, that's okay. You don't have to get one.
Okay, but that's kind of, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of like, no. You know, it's kind of like saying, you know, okay, we know you think this is totally wrong, but no one has to get an abortion, but you have to, you know, or not have to get an abortion. We have it on the books. What, just in case? We do need to kill, or we do need to, but why would you need it in the first place? All right.
People get assaulted and it's kind of like even worse than, well, depending on your like perspective. So it's like having your bill where it's like, this happened to me, so I will decide to not have an abortion. That's worse than what had happened to me. And having a child from like assault versus, you know, someone like I got assaulted, I'm traumatized, having this kid,
Okay.
like, even worse.
I got you. I just want to move away from the abortion question because I want to focus more now. I appreciate your comment, and it's a good comment. But let's get back to my thing where I was talking about if you want to base the laws on, say, biblical principles. Let's say, you know, you're running for office, and I think that the laws of our nation, of our state, should be based on biblical principles because they're given to us by a God, the ultimate God, you know? And so that's how I'm gonna vote, and that's how I'm gonna do things. Why couldn't we do that? I don't understand why it's different in Pakistan, just because it's, another country, but yeah, a country's a country. We could decide that here.
Because, like Aaron was saying, like we have a lot of different beliefs. So although it may be majority, it's like a thing where although there's a lot of majority that are like yes, there's a lot of majority that says no as well.
Okay, then how do you get anything done on any question? If you're not gonna follow majority rules, because there's always gonna be a minority of some percentage, then I get back, how does democracy even work then?
Democracy is flawed.
Huh?
It's flawed.
Okay, it's flawed. Do you think majority rules is a good principle in a government? A system? You think majority rules works?
No way.
Or should everyone have to agree before we can go forward?
I think majority would work a lot better if people listened to each other, and if it wasn't like one side of the spectrum versus the other side of the spectrum. And it's a matter of like majority of, although we fully agree, we're not coming to like an agreement. Majority rule kind of works if people have discussions and we're like, okay, well, this is the majority, but let's also work with the minority to try to make best decision for the people and not for just what our rule is.
Okay. I like that. Okay, you would like to work for everybody, but don't at some point you have to say, sorry, this is the line that we're taking?
I just think the line-
So, you still have to come to a point where you do have to make an imposition. So what's wrong with religion making that imposition? Someone says, we're only going to follow biblical principles. So that's in the Ten Commandments. Rest on the Sabbath, so nothing's open. No work, no nothing. You got to worship God, go to church, rest. That's what you got to do. Right? Or if, say, you live in Muslims are very small in our country, but, said we're going to have Sharia. We have law based on the Quran. And that's how we're going to, what's wrong with that? We're going to have an Islamic democracy. And shouldn't we base it on the Quran, Ms. Colonna? Because it comes from God. Rather than an authority. The U.S. Constitution was just written by a bunch of men.
Not everybody believes in God.
Huh?
Not everybody believes in God.
So, if the majority does, do they have to believe in the same God? Well, that's true. You'd have to figure it out. Yeah, you'd have to find out. Yeah, because not everyone might believe in the Quran. They don't think it's from God or believe in the Bible. But let's say a majority does believe in those things. Then can we move forward?
But why is religion?
Because it comes from God. It's not from just any human authority. It comes from an all-knowing, supreme intellect, a being. How's that not modern?
You just said that the Bible's to change.
You do?
So it's not, if you go based on the Bible,
Principle hasn't. Principle hasn't. You have modern nations where they have state religions. I mentioned the United Kingdom, Christianity. Pakistan is Islam. They're modern nations.
I just don't think, like, there's other nations, other religions.
Why? Why?
Because not everything is the same. Follows the same rules and it is.
Okay.
So just because Christians might be the majority, doesn't mean the majority of Christians follow every single thing.
Okay, but if the majority of the majority is of a certain Christian faith, and they have their principles, then go with it, right? This is the principles. This is what the church teaches. This is what the Bible said. And again, you go by majority rules. What majority is there? Say if the majority is Protestant, then that's the form of Christian government they'll have. It's Catholic, they'll have Catholic, Eastern Orthodox,
Anywhere is wrong.
Yeah, but it's just like public schools. Public schools, you're not allowed. You're not.
Says who? Why not?
Are you allowed?
You couldn't have a world religions class? Would that violate anything?
You can't force students to take class based on
No, like a catechism class. Why couldn't they teach a course on the history of Christianity or the history of Islam?
They
Or just world
just not
religion?
read.
No, that's true. You know, not everyone has to take one of the languages and stuff like that. It's open. That's true. But it could be part of the humanities. You know, it's like the sciences. Not everyone can offer an astronomy course. You don't have to take it.
Yeah, public schools aren't. Isn't it written that public schools are not allowed to?
They're government, yes, so they
Yes.
cannot promote a
Yes,
particular
exactly.
religion. They also can't prevent
Yes.
the exercise. So what will keep your professor from talking about in a historical way, you know, how Judaism developed or
They're allowed. They're not
yeah, why
allowed.
not? That's religion, isn't it?
As in, you're not allowed to promote.
I'm not saying promote it. I'm just saying talk about it, the history, the books, the beliefs, what people do.
Yeah, you're allowed to educate.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
You're just not allowed to.
Yeah, that's not
Your
illegal.
views on it.
But I'm not saying,
And that's responsible.
but just talking about it is not illegal.
No.
So you can talk about it in public school, right?
Yeah,
You could have a class on religion.
yeah.
Exactly. So it's not illegal.
I didn't say it was illegal to have a class. It's illegal to promote something.
Well,
Learning,
all right.
yeah, forcing learning versus forcing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, no, I get it. I get it. I'm with
You
you.
make your opinions based on what you can't force that on somebody unless you're in a private.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like, but yeah, in my Catholic school, like, in my religion class, you'd be like, God says this, God says that, God says this. Like, other schools, like, I would, like, if I was to ask my friend, they, their religion, the teacher was saying, when you say that, they would just, teaching on what you were saying. This-
Yeah, your history and, you know, stuff like that. Literary criticism of the text and stuff like that. Yeah, no. You're not promoting any religion, you're just discussing. Well, couldn't you have you couldn't even have a class, sorry, creating a rabbit hole. Sorry about that. All right. I'm still, I don't know. Have we gotten this any closer, Mr. Durant, do you think? Ms. Rogers, how do you think?
Shit. I'm saying, like, why?
My question is, why is it not legitimate for religion to impose its view, for religious people to impose their views?
I don't think it's legitimate anywhere, like anywhere.
But okay, but give me the reason why, because doesn't it happen? Well, let's say, for example,
It's
sir,
up in the air.
let's say, for example, you don't believe in democracy. Like we've been talking, Ms. Cook, about we're in a democracy, right? But there are different forms of government. What if you want a totalitarian dictatorship? And you're perfectly okay with that. I'm not saying you're perfectly okay, but I'm saying someone's perfectly okay with that. They're perfectly, fascism, that's a big word that people are throwing around these days. I don't know that they understand what it means. But, you want a fascist government where the government has a lot of control and there's one leader, kind of a dictator, not necessarily, but in effect a dictator. What's wrong with that? Doesn't have to be a democracy. So why are you imposing democracy on someone who disagrees?
Like, if they didn't want democracy, they weren't living here.
But they are living here. But maybe they have no choice to live here. They're here.
That's on them.
Okay.
But that's just,
But if it were a religious, see where I'm going to go with this stuff. Why is it different when religion is the theme?
fair.
Hey, you just happen to live in a town with all the city Jews. Got to follow their religious beliefs. Or leave. So you can impose some things on people. Some things are so important that they can be imposed, like democracy. You have to have a democracy. No other form of government. Not a dictatorship, monarchy.
I didn't listen to democracy.
No, it's not.
Smart.
But you believe in it, don't
I do democracy.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd rather democracy than anything else.
Yeah. So you're willing to oppose that view on other people?
What democracy?
Yeah. As a form of government, the way society should work, and decide things.
I don't think anybody wants to live in a country where they don't have.
Okay, some people.
People do.
Nah, some people.
People in North Korea seem very happy.
It's like if I like
From
yes,
what I see.
I wouldn't tell somebody.
Do you think people living in this democracy are happy? I thought you were just saying, you know, let's go to. And you're thinking about this time you live in this code. You think it might have been better 50 years ago? The democracy might have been healthier 50 years ago?
Yes.
You think so? Really?
I think
Well, what is 50 years ago? What's it?
less diverse.
Huh?
You use less diverse.
Probably, yeah. I think you're right statistically. It's very Christian, very white Christian.
Wasn't doing
So that would be.
That's why.
So what do you think it would have been like to be, say, a Muslim growing up in 1970s Americans?
I immediately disagree with what you said. I think maybe like 10, 20 years ago, like 10, 10 years ago, I think the hottest.
So, but it's better and now it's gone down.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like 10 years old then, right? You're making those. You were a thinker in this book. I gotta watch out for you. He was saying 10 years ago, which is what, 2015? 2015?
Yeah, you could look back on it though. Like I mean, I
Who was president then, though? Wasn't Trump president then? Huh?
Thomas Obama's country. That was
Obama's last year.
Obama.
So Obama's last
That was
year.
Obama. That's why I said 20.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess you've only had that little home side.
No, I'm just saying you pretty up for like religion, politics, just like,
Okay.
don't really be
Why?
intertwined at all.
I don't disagree with you, sir. But I'm trying to get at the question of why do you think that? Why can't religion be remote? Why do they have to be separate? Says who? Why does the equation suddenly change when you talk about religion?
Everybody think that there's something wrong with it.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, religion, absolutely. You know, like you said, like it's God. That's people see that as you're right. That is bigger than all of us. You know, it's when there's absolute beliefs which are unwavering, and a system that's supposed to be like flexible and work around the situation for like everybody who may not always fall under like that religion. It's not really good to impose it to something like the government.
Okay. Interesting. But then again, I could throw out democracy again. Why does everyone have to be on board with a democratic government? Could I be a socialist worker and be employed in the federal government?
But democracy,
But I don't believe in democracy. Well, unless I'm a democratic socialist. But I believe in. Yeah. People are going insane. Well, yeah, some people are thrilled, but other people are going insane. Well, why aren't there more? Why aren't there more? If we're so diverse, why is it the two-party system?
Tomorrow party. It should be no parties.
Should be no parties. Okay, all right, fine. Religion cannot intervene in human life. Religion can't keep itself to itself. Well, what does? We've been in our conversation. Politics doesn't. Government tells me what to do on all sorts of issues. I don't want abortion, but the government tells me I have to just suck it up and accept it. I don't like the pot shops. They're all over New Jersey. But what can I do? You know, suck it up and accept it. But that only happened because people promoted it, right? They kept putting it on the ballot. And finally they won. They got their view imposed. And I could use other examples, anything. Okay? So that intervenes in my life. Others, people's moral judgments intervene. I don't believe in what you're telling me to do. Think about that. I don't believe what you're telling me to do, Ms. Jasmine. I don't agree with you. You're telling me I should do X. Well, I don't believe in that. Okay, fine. But it seems like it also can become, you have no right to tell me what to do. You have no right to tell me what to do with my body. Right? It becomes, you can't tell me I don't agree with that you don't even have a right to tell me that. Why with religion? And of course, that's right, Ms. Yeah, I was debating who I was gonna call her. See, Ms. Ying, right? That's right. I don't have the right to tell you what to think. I mean, it is a free country. I have the right to tell you what I think you should think, but I don't have the right to impose what you should think on you. Well, even that can be a murky area because then how do you deal with children? Children, you know, tell them what to think all the time, right? Parents, huh? They don't have opinions before?
When you're a kid, go based on typically it's what your house, and then if you're exposed, then you can create your.
Okay. So up until the age of 18, you should still be told what to do and what to think.
Like that's kind of it's right now.
Really? But what does an adult mean? It means that you can be judged by the law. You're not the different rules and you have certain. I mean, why can't you vote? I mean, laws have changed. I mean, the 18 is just a number. I mean, 21 for drinking alcohol or smoking. 18 for voting, or no, 16 for voting. So, no, it's 18. Excuse me, 16 for selective service. But anyways, these are just numbers, right? Is it based in any real evidence that something changed when you were 18?
Well, I think people that fight, they think that age people who are age should be low, should go on.
Okay. All right. But even so, I mean, how educated do you have to be before someone can't tell you what to do? I mean, what's your limit for education? Do they have to go through all 12 years, grammar school and high school? Do they have to just go through grammar school, not high school necessarily? Do they have to go to college as well?
I mean, personally, I feel like most of this, like, you want to say voting, what you're told about politics comes from your life experience, doesn't come from school. Except
Okay.
if you did, like, said you can't vote.
Okay.
So kind of like, you hear from your household, you hear from people, peers around you, I think. So I think it depends on that too.
All right. Does a parent have the right to tell the children, well, I don't know, up until a certain age when they have as much education and can decide for themselves? Can they tell them that black people are inferior to white people? Blacks and whites should not mix. The races should not mix at all. Sure. So that's why I said it's a murky area, isn't it? Because when you get to children, people do tell their children what they have to think.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
You grow up easier.
Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you do. I hope so. Here's hoping, but maybe you don't.
Situation. You can go on teaching your kid racism versus teaching your kid to be racist versus teaching your kid don't eat anger, like don't eat sweets after this time. There's a difference in what you're telling them to do.
Okay. What if you teach your kid tolerance? That no, all races are the same. We should be able to be with who we want to be. Is that okay? Or is that indoctrinating, telling your child what to think? And if so, is that okay? At what point is it not okay anymore?
I mean, that's kind of just like fault. That's like in like and I like I said, it goes to different people in my head. And for me personally, I think that kids should like there's still I think you should be taught about equality. Like if
Why? What's so great about equality?
because it's based off of like not everybody's gonna think that.
Okay.
I can say
Okay. All right. But you're going to make a decision that that's what your child's going to believe, right?
until they think. I don't.
Okay. But my question then is, why is it okay for you to make sure they believe that thing up until that point? What's different?
No, I'm saying I'm still gonna try and guide them, but I can't force that opinion on them. They're their own person. You can't go in their mind and change how they think. You can just
Okay.
try and educate them
All right.
to feel what I guess you believe is more.
Yeah, you can't force them. Okay, you can't force them to believe that. So before taking your child to the doctor to get a vaccine, you got to find out if your child believes in vaccines and their efficacy, right? Maybe your child's an anti-vaxxer. Talking to his friends and they'll give you these shots. They don't always work.
That's what I'm saying. No children talking about that. No 12-year-old child is genuinely in class. What grade are you going to be in 12 when you're 12 years old? Whatever grade it is, though. When I was in sixth grade, I wasn't sitting there talking about if I wanted a flu shot or not, bro. I was sitting there with my friend, wanting to play Pokemon, bro. Wanting to play Beyblades, like talking about video games and things of that nature.
Okay.
Kid, not worried about that. Like that's why. But like my mom,
I guess I could go into sex. I'm assuming that was a topic of conversation sometimes. Eventually, I would imagine.
yeah.
When you're 12 years old, probably barely.
Like I'm talking like 8th grade.
All right.
That's like 8th grade.
All right.
It's like, but like for like my mom, for example, she taught like she told me stuff that she wanted me to do. But at one point, I was like, I started questioning what she was
Okay.
saying.
But that's fine. What I'm trying to do is get before that point. Was it okay for her to have done that before?
Absolutely.
Why?
That's she thought was right.
What she thought was right for
That's
you.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
but that's her job.
That's their job.
Make sure raise your kid how you want your kid.
And if I'm a politician, I represent my people. I have to take care of them.
Politicians.
See where I'm going with this one, don't you, Ms. Cook?
Politicians.
If I think it's good for them that they should, I don't know, go to church every Sunday, pray with their God, what's wrong with that?
They have the thing about that, and I can't tell a politician's intent.
Can't?
No.
What if he tells you or she tells you? Could you tell your mom's intent? No, but when your mom was telling you things, could you tell her intent?
Absolutely, that's my mother. Shaka Top, that's my mom. She gave birth to me. I know she wants me to do good in life. I don't, politicians.
You knew that?
Donald Trump don't care about what I got going on.
Okay. Does everyone know that about? I'm not sure if everyone has that experience with their parents. I'm glad you did,
Yeah, I'm saying.
Thank God. but we wouldn't have child services if that were the situation with every parent, that they're only looking out for your good when they tell you what to do
Some parents don't got your best interest.
and beating you with the strap to make you do it.
not only with child service. There's other stuff they have with child service. I just want to neglect other stuff they have.
Okay. Okay, so I just want to be clear what I'm trying to get at here. Trying to get at why does it change? Why is it we say, well, no, you're allowed to think what you want to think, make your own decisions, but it seems like you're kind of not, from a certain point in your life, you're not. You assume the authority is good because it's your mom, right? Yes. But why don't you assume that your country is good? Your country gave you life.
I know
You were born here.
politicians don't have my best interest.
Your country takes care of you.
Politicians, they don't.
42 million people are starving right now, do they?
Well, you think that, but people do.
Veterans.
Other cultures do have that view of society.
I think that maybe.
And if we're going off like based on we trust our parents, I didn't trust my parents ever from like
So you didn't, okay, that's
no,
fine.
no, I got taken away from my parents' child support system.
All right, I don't need,
No, I'm just saying my personal opinion on things. I'm just saying like I don't think that you can really fully trust
okay.
anything.
So there are untrustworthy authorities. Is religion one of them?
Yes.
Okay, but can it also be a trustworthy authority? See, that's where we go. That's the thing I'm looking for, Mr. Bracy. Why does that happen?
Religion doesn't know everybody's personal experiences and those are the things that he was saying. So religion can't take everybody's personal
Well, you can
experiences.
say that about anything. Politicians don't know your personal experience. Your parents don't know your personal
It's
experience.
not your best interest.
Politicians, the politician, he doesn't know what I'm doing.
But your parents don't know either.
They know what I can go through though.
They've been there. They were there with you.
My mom wasn't. If I tell my mom something, if I tell her something, and she knows what I'm going, like,
If she knows, how would she know sometimes? You have
She's
no
been through
unique
it.
experiences?
she's been through life.
Sure.
My mom had me. My mom did have me at a younger age, but I'm saying she went through life and process, been through most of the things. So it's
Okay.
like,
So, but she knows everything you're going through then.
if I outward the expression.
Yeah, you tell her. Okay, I got you. If you tell her. Yeah, no, I got you. All right, see Mr. Klitsch is suffering here. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Klitsch, but sometimes digging in the garden is dirty. Takes a while, and then you get dirty, and you don't always dig up what you want, you know? There is a method to my madness here. I hope you're seeing that. Okay, because it seems like, to some extent, politics, parents, other authorities, okay, you're willing to accept a certain amount of imposition of their views on you, telling you what to do, organizing your life and the way you'll live and the way you'll see the world. Then when you mention the word religion, not for everybody. There are some people that are like, yeah, I want to live in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. I want all my laws based off the Quran, you know? They're Christian nationalists. They're like, yeah, America is a Christian nation. We should base it all on the Bible and the teachings of Jesus, yeah? But most people are like, as soon as you say the religious thing, it's like, As you were saying, Ms. Cook, you know?
Oh, like me, like I'm with some Christians who consider a lukewarm Christian.
All right.
You know what that term is?
I'm not trying to fly.
No. I'm just saying, you know what that term is, all right?
No.
A lukewarm Christian, it's like somebody who just like doesn't. They follow the religion, but don't go through their day-to-day life. Like I tell you to do this, I still sin. Like I still no. You know what I'm saying?
All right. This isn't confession, sir. I'm not a priest.
I'm just saying.
All right,
I'm just trying to
we have no walls here to.
Okay. I'm just trying to make you understand
Okay.
where I'm coming from.
God the Father, mercy. So the Son is. Okay, so you're a lukewarm Christian. What are you trying to say?
God, the one
Okay.
example. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't. Thanks. And if I'm mentioning like your mother or your parents, I'm trying to distance myself. I'm not attacking anybody here. I'm asking it, trying to get it, dig for my like a little squirrel digging for my nut. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. what he was saying about like or a Christian. The reason why people react that way with all things with like, oh, you're a Christian, oh, you're a Republican, Democrat, is because things are so like radicalized, and it's like, you know, like people who are just like, I'm gonna take the good from this, I'm gonna take the good from that. Those are like so disappearing, and people just see like the hard, like especially with religion, people are like, oh, I'm a Christian. They're like everything, right? There's like a clear picture that is painted in their head because that's kind of what is represented or what you're expected to represent when you say you're a Christian.
Okay. Wait. Oh, wait, we're past time, aren't we? Oh, no, we still got 5 minutes. Okay. All right, I was listening. I just went on. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. All right. I guess something about that sets, maybe it's because of, I don't know, I'm just spitballing. Maybe it's because of the ultimate question. You know, politics isn't about ultimates, you know? Politics is like, you know, should we raise taxes, not taxes? Should everyone have free health care? Should only some have free health? Blah, 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 blah. They're not necessarily ultimate questions, although I think people starving is kind of like a pretty serious ultimate moral question. What are we going to do about that? You know? But it doesn't really tell you how to view the world in some ways. Not really, I guess, whereas religion maybe does. You have to see the world, you know, like if you're a Christian, say more of a certain type of variety, and you take certain stories in the Bible literally, then, you know, okay, no public schools can teach evolution or they can't teach the Big Bang because that's not how it's described in our religious school. And this would go even to say Muslims as well, because they don't have a creation story in the Quran, but you know, it does say God created from a clot of blood. So I guess, but nevertheless, let's say stick with Christians. Okay, but that's an ultimate vision of what you have to have that view. Okay, and not everyone has that view. That not everyone is interpreting the world in that way. Okay, but they're imposing their answer to that ultimate question of like, is there a God? Did God create the world? You know, did He create us? Those are all ultimate questions that people do answer differently, have different opinions on. But you're trying to say on that ultimate question, it's all settled for everybody. Because the Christians on the school board decided for everybody that there is a God, whether you believe it or not. Whereas with politics or something, or your parents, you love them, but you know your mom or dad could be wrong. They're giving you from their experience. Politicians, they can promise things and try to do things, but they might not work out. It's not an ultimate thing. You don't have, huh?
I was saying that's another thing. But like, if I ask a parent for advice about a certain situation, they tell me what to do based off what they think. Now it's up to me if I wanna be like, they just told me.
But, Mr. Bracy, you're told to be home at a certain time and you don't come home.
Exactly. That's something I know I'm get punished over.
Yeah, so
But
it
if it's
could
like a
still happen in
situation-
a religious society too, right? Could they punish you if you break the religious rules?
Probably.
Aren't the rules still valid?
Probably. Something like that. I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care, but you wouldn't. I love
saying
Mr. Bracy. Thank you, sir.
I'm
Keep me
saying
on
I
my toes.
would leave. Like I would just stop leaving.
Because you think the principle is invalid, sir. But I want to know why you think the principle is invalid, not just that you feel it's invalid. Okay.
Just because religion is like it's so up in the air that it's just not. It's just.
Oh, it's not legitimate. Okay, that might be another issue. Yeah, religion is about like fairy tales. It's like people's opinions that, yeah, okay. But see sure, but the only problem with that argument is that you could say the same thing about, say, politics or economics and stuff. They're based on theories about how people think society should work. And people can disagree on those things.
Sort of
That's where different political systems, like whole political systems, though. Yeah, whole different economic systems. Some of them seem to work well. Some of them don't seem to work well. You test them, right? Couldn't you? Okay. What I guess I'm also trying to get at is the fact of why is it religion in a way that has to always prove itself? It seems that amongst human endeavors, just because it's religion, you can't take it seriously. It shouldn't be taken serious. Politics, economics, other stuff, yes, those matter. But if someone is proposing, let's do this for a purely religious reason, people don't even want to talk about it or even entertain it sometimes, just because it seems it's just religious. But why is that so? Why is religious violence different from any other kind of violence? I guess to get back to the class. A question that we might ask. Why is religious violence worse, say, than any other kind of violence? Is it worse than any other kind of violence? All right. All right. I absolve you, Mr. Gracie. Have a good day. God bless you all. Mr. Klitsch, your suffering is over. You'll get out of purgatory at an earlier date, I'm sure. Well, see ya. Have a good day. See you, sir. Have a good day, miss. Wait a second. Where'd this come from? Have a good day, sir. Have a good day. Um, hmm. Oh,